What's up, everybody? And this is Chandler with the Byte with Chandler B. And today I'm just going to talk to you guys a little bit about my process I went through for Dentkits. And I got a few videos here I'm going to show, mostly about the impression process. The timeline and everything like that varies for everybody, but I can at least walk you through the impressions, because that's the most nerve-wracking part of the whole thing, because you mess that up and you got to redo the whole thing. So let's jump right into it and get to a couple videos I have of me doing the impressions. So this is the first video, and I'll probably pause and stuff here and there, but this is the very first video, and it's basically me unpacking it. And you get the return label, you get this form to fill out to pick your shade, your name and order number, the date, and everything like that. I think I picked a number 1 shade. I picked like the brightest you can possibly get. And then you get your trays in a separate Ziploc. Everything is packaged really, really well. So keep in mind, this was filmed in 2019, I believe. So almost a little over 3 years ago, probably by now. I meant to upload it a long time ago, and I never got around to it. So you're going to get all your impression material sent to you, and they're going to be 2 different colors. And basically, the main part about this that makes it the most difficult is that these have to be mixed to a uniform color. So you can't have any swirling, nothing like that going on in them. You have to have them in a uniform color or it won't work. So you're going to basically start mixing these together, and you have like less than 60 seconds to get them fully mixed together and in the tray. If you don't do that, it's going to start hardening up on you and make your impression not turn out very well. So that's the end of the first video. Let's go to the second one. This is me separating out the different parts I need for different things. So the first part, that first part you see me separate out, which was 2 blue and 2 white portions, that is for your bite. So some places do your bite with a wax bite impression thing. It's usually like a gum strip or a hockey puck type of deal. But Dentkits sent me impression material to do my bite. Basically, that's just taking an impression of where your jaw sits when it's relaxed. The second set, 2 white and 2 blue, are going to be for the bottom tray, and 2 white and 2 blue are going to be for the top tray. So I'm separating everything out, getting everything right where it needs to be, because I want to do this right the first time. And you can see I have my timer there, and I'm going to time this whole process. Every time I start mixing, I set the timer. So this video is of me mixing, and this is kind of a long video, and I may fast forward through parts of it because, well, there are parts of it of just me standing there. So I kind of had a hard time getting a good angle on this shot. So and I also didn't want to show my face too much, because these things tend to be like hard to do anyway without filming it, and they kind of make you want to gag sometimes, especially like my mouth isn't, it's not a large size or medium size. I'm like kind of stuck right in between sizes, so the large is a little bit too big and the medium is a little bit too small. So they sent me larges, and there's a lot of goo, a lot of putty material getting squished in there, and it kind of makes you feel like you want to gag. So I didn't film me doing my actual trays, because that was harder, and I wanted to make sure I got those perfect. And but redoing the bite wouldn't be a huge deal if I had to redo the bite. Like, that's just impression material for this, and so that's what I'm doing now. But the mixing process is exactly the same. You just want to make sure that you get the material spread out in the tray evenly, especially for like the top tray, because there's a lot of stuff that goes in there. The bottom tray is going to overflow quite a bit. That's okay. Do it the way they send it in the packet, or the way that they direct it in the package, and the way they email you. Do it exactly like that. You just want to make sure, especially doing the bottom, it can be kind of hard, because when you finally get all the impression material in there, you're trying to go fast, and it can be kind of nerve-wracking, and you'll tend to want to, at least for me, you want to bite down like not straight on the tray. You want to make sure that your jaw is going directly centered into the tray. Don't bite down on the edge of the tray and bite through the impression material, because that makes a bad impression and they can't use that. So just make sure you have it centered right on your jaw, before you start pushing down and biting down on that. And you don't want to bite all the way through it. Just put a fair amount of pressure on there to start spreading that stuff out, and it'll work. It'll work perfectly. So I'm going to fast forward here a little bit because it's just me kind of sitting there. So you're going to see me get all these, and what I did was I separated these out by color, mixed the colors together, so I had two bigger globs of each color, and I'm going to mix those two together. And you're going to watch the way I do this, because this is the best way I found to do it. There's a million ways you can do this. This is just the way I figured out how to do it. It mixes it the fastest, the most uniform. So I'm going to hit start on my timer, and I'm going to get to mixing as fast as I can. And you're going to see me squish together, twist, and pull apart. Squish together, twist, and pull apart. And I continue to do that repeatedly, where I just twist and pull apart. And I'm just going to keep doing that for the time that it says. And it should be one uniform color. You shouldn't have any spiraling, no swirling of the colors, nothing like that. It should be one continuous light blue color. Sometimes the blue can be green, depends on what they send you. It's different for every company that sends out their impression material, or what they have available at the time. So now that I've got it all mixed up, I'm going to start kind of rolling it into a horseshoe shape, because I'm going to bite down on this, and it's going to take the impression of my bite. See, I'm kind of working it, trying to get it in the right shape to make sure it'll fit. Everything's going to go right where it needs to be. And that's pretty much it. And then I'm checking my time to make sure I'm good. And I'm just kind of making sure I don't bite all the way through it. You just want to go to a relaxed position. You don't want to don't push your jaw too far forward or pull it too far back, because that's what it's registering. It's registering the position of your jaw when it's relaxed, so they know how to orient the teeth and everything correctly. I kind of started pushing on the front of my teeth a little bit, just to make sure it was in there good. It wasn't squishing out too far. But other than that, I just let it sit. This is just me reading through material and stuff. Taking my time. And I had a little bit of impression material on my nose or something like that. I don't know what I was doing with that. You can kind of see the top and bottom trays there on my counter, and I kind of get them in a better position where you can see them a little better. I should have showed them off more. So yeah, this is kind of what it looks like once you got it in. By this point, it's almost solid. We're getting to the end of the process, and it's already almost hardened up. So yeah, I take those two trays, and we're going to put them aside for now. And let's go forward a little bit more. So here I'm going to start taking it out and rinsing it off. And we're roughly about 5 minutes after I got it in there. And about 5 minutes after it's fully mixed and it's in your mouth, roughly about 5 minutes. And from that point, this is what you're going to get. So I got a bottom plate there on the right, top plate on the left, and the Byte material registration in the middle. And that's how I sent it back to them. I think what I did, though, I'm pretty sure most places will ask you to put it back into a Ziploc bag and wrap it in a damp paper towel and then pack it up. I think I just used this for the picture. I just took a picture of it like this, but that way it keeps the impression material from getting too brittle and dry and cracking or anything like that. So yeah, that's pretty much that's the hardest part of the entire process right there, what you just saw. Mostly because just getting the trays in straight, things like that. I went back and forth quite a bit with a sales rep from Dentkits, and they have you, once you get all your impressions done, they have you send them a picture of that. That's what that picture is from. I took that picture and sent it to them because that way they can look at them in the picture and they can probably tell if they're good enough or not. If they see swirls in the picture, if they see a crack, if they see something weird, they're not even going to bother with you sending them back to them. Don't waste that shipping label on a bad impression. They'll probably send you more impression material. And I don't know what their policy is on if you mess it up, how many times they'll replace that. I'm assuming I'd have to buy more impression material from them to do that. But they liked what they saw from me and took those impressions and made my dentures, and I'm still wearing them today. So they look a little smaller than my Russell Kleins that I had. This whole process was done solely for the purpose of time. When at the time when I wanted to get these a new set of dentures, I needed to have them quick, and I went to Russell first. That's the first person I went to. He was super busy at the time. It was going to take him a little longer, and so I went with Dentkits. But that has nothing to do with the quality. For no reason whatsoever did I go with Dentkits over Russell because of the quality or anything like that. This is not a criticism of either, or it's just out of curiosity I went with Dentkits this time. Next time I'll probably go back with Russell though, just simply because I like the look, the aesthetic of his dentures more. The way the teeth looked I like the way they fit my face a little bit better. I'm sure I could have asked Dentkits to, hey, could you make the teeth a little bit bigger or do this or that, and they would have been happy to do that. But going forward, I'll probably go with Russell just because I'm probably a little bit biased because Russell's dentures were the first ones I had, and that's just what I prefer. So to each their own. Everybody's got their own preference, and it's only a preference thing. It has nothing to do with the quality of either of these denture sets. They're both really good. I want to say that the timeline for the Dentkits at that time was probably from very start to very finish a month to a month and a week or so, maybe 5 weeks. I know I originally said like 2 to 3 weeks at the time. Yes, from the time of them telling me my order was, or my impressions were good and they were processing my order to the time that they shipped them out, 2 to 3 weeks. But from the starting process, from me ordering the impression kit to the time of them shipping my dentures out, probably about a month-ish at that time. Now, depending on order volume and things like that, your timeline might be different. But that's how it all went. And I'm super happy with them. I've worn them ever since. They fit super well. And I do use adhesive, but I've always used adhesive. Like, I just prefer it. It provides a little bit of cushion, a little bit extra security in there. I can wear them without, though. I just prefer a little bit of adhesive. But if you have any questions about this process, or want me to talk about anything specific, or have questions about anything else that you're related, just drop them in the comments. Let me know, and I will be glad to do a video on it and answer any questions that you may have. But until then, as always, stay safe, be strong, feel alive. Have a good one, guys.